Hi, and welcome back. In this tutorial, we are going to talk about how we can export our mesh out of Zbrush along with the texture maps for Maya. So, Zbrush has a seamless integration with Maya for exporting maps and geometry. You have different options. You can use the Gozi feature of Zbrush to export your mesh out of Zbrush to Maya. And apart from that, we can click on export to export our currently selected subtool in obj format. Apart from obj, what else we can do is we can choose from the drop down menu .ma format, that is my sky format. So before moving further, make sure that your object is unwrapped, and for that purpose what I can do is I can just to check whether my object is unwrapped or not, I'll move to UV map and I'll click on move UV. If your object is unwrapped, in that case you would see this UV island. So my object here is unwrapped. If your object is not unwrapped, in that case you can move to Z plugin and use UV master to quickly unwrap your object. You can in fact use enable control painting to have further control over how the UV islands are generated. So I'll make sure that all the subtools of my object they are unwrapped and they have uh, texture map generated. For that particular purpose, I'll move to texture map here and I'll click on create option there and click on new from polypaint. It will generate a texture map for that particular tool, and I'll use my down arrow to move to my next tool and click on the same button new from polypaint to generate texture map for every subtool. So I can use my up and down arrow key to move to my lower or higher subtool. So after that, what we can do is make sure all your objects, all your meshes are in their lowest division. If you are going to export them in their higher division, in that case, there are chances that you might have a larger file size. So I can move for a particular subtool, I can move to geometry and reduce the division level from there. But I can see I have a list of subtools here, so I can simply click on all low from my subtool menu here, and I can click on export and I will click on .ma and I'll rename the file and click on save. I can see my file is exported now, and I'll move to the folder where my file is exported. I'll double click on the file and it will open that file in Maya. So the file is open now, and I'll zoom in and I'll press 6 on my keyboard to activate the texture mode. I can see my object is basically has the texture already applied. I can select my object and move to the attribute editor and see it has basically applied a blend material onto my object, and it has imported that image texture map into the color channel here. So if you have any other details, like if you have generated text normal map, in that case that is automatically going to be imported in bump map. And I can see by clicking on this .ma format, I my only currently selected subtool was exported. So what I'll do is I'll move to fbx next, and I'll give my file a name and save it. FBX, when exporting in FBX, we have option that whether we want to export only the selected object or the visible object or all the subtools from our existing scene. So I'll make sure all my subtools are selected here and I'll click on OK. It will take some time and export all the tools along with their texture maps. So my file is exported now. I can move to that folder and I'll first of all reset my scene, existing scene, and I'll move to that folder to see my FBX file here. I'll import and drag and drop that FBX file into Maya, and I can see in my outliner I have a number of objects imported here. I can move in closer to my object and press 6 on my keyboard, and I can see it has imported all the subtools along with all the different poly painted textures already applied onto my object. I can see that from the attribute editor. So this is how in which we can import our objects, import our geometry or characters inside Maya very easily, along with all the different textures that we have created in ZBrush. So this is it for this tutorial here. If you find it interesting, just like, share and subscribe. Thank you.